Hi everyone, welcome back to Nuskrit. So let's solve today's daily LeetCode challenge, which is reorder list. So let's try to read the problem statement first. So we are given the head of a single linked list. The list can be represented as, let's say, node 1 is pointing to node 2, then node 2 is pointing to node 3. Like similarly, then the second last node will be pointing to the last node, right? Like something like that, right? Now, what we need to do is we need to reorder this list to be on the following form. Like what we'll do, we will make sure that the 0th node should start pointing to the last node. The first node should start pointing to the second last node. Then the second node should start pointing to the last third node, right? Say for example, in this original example, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. One should start pointing to 4. Then 4 should start pointing to this node, then 2 will start pointing to this 3. Let's take an example and try to understand this. So initially we are given this original linked list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what we can do is, as a first step, we can find the middle node, right? Find the middle node. So once we find the middle node, as you can see, like calculating middle node is very easy. We have really solved 2 to 3 problems on that. So you can simply reach this using fast and slow pointer. So this will be your slow node. And once you have the pointer to this node, what you can do is now you can actually call the reverse function, right? So reverse should also be clear to you because we have done this is the third problem that we are doing on reverse. So definitely I'm not really gonna solve or tell you like how to calculate reverse. I would recommend that you go and watch the previous 2 videos, right? So what we can do is now I can pass this slow pointer to this reverse function, and what this reverse function will do is this will give me the head of reversed linked list, right? Head of reversed linked list, which means that okay, once you pass this slow pointer to this reverse function, this will reverse this entire second half of the linked list, right? Second half. And don't really look at the other pointers. You need to make sure that okay, this 5 will start pointing to this 4, this 4 will start pointing to this 3, and this 3 should start pointing to null. But this 2 node will still be pointing to 3 because I haven't really made any changes to this next pointer, right? The next pointer of 2 will still be pointing to 3 because I have only made sure that I have reversed this particular string, which is fine, right? So great. Like, so what we have achieved so far, our node is now, our linked list is now something like this. 1 is pointing to 2, 2 is pointing to 3, and 3 is pointing to null. From this, 5 is pointing to 4, 4 is pointing to 3, and now I have the pointer to this node. Maybe you can call it as previous, because at the last, when you reverse this particular linked list, your previous reaches this particular point. So at last, this previous will be your head of the new reversed linked list, right? Great. Now let's look at how we will be proceeding with the rearrangement of this string, like how we will be reordering this string, right? This linked list. So let's look at that. So now what I'll do, I'll basically take 3 pointers. This first will be pointing to the head of the original, like you can say like original head. This second will be pointing to the previous, right? The previous that we got, right? Or you can say like the head of the new reversed linked list, right? Half reversed linked list. So this would be the second. And now what I'll do, I'll simply say like this. Just see. My first pointer will be head, right? My second pointer will be, you can say previous, because at the last, previous is something which points to the head of the new reverse linked list, right? Great. And now we will be taking one more pointer, which is temp, and initially this temp will be pointing to first dot next. The reason for that is very simple. Let me just make it clear to you. What I'm gonna do is just look at that. I will say okay, first what you should do is you should start pointing to second node. Just try to understand this. So if I say something like this, okay, first you should start pointing to this second node, right? First you should start pointing to the second node. So as soon as we make this pointer something like this pointer we will be losing, right? This pointer will be lost. So I need to make sure that I should be having this second temp pointer, right? So this is the reason I am making sure that this temp will be first dot next, right? Before actually making this thing. So before I will start pointing this first node to second, I will make sure that I don't lose the pointer to this node. That is why I will be writing this temp is equals to first dot next, right? Great. And now what we will do as a next step, I will make sure that okay, as soon as this pointer is done, I will make this first point to this temp, because next time this would be my first node, right? Next time this would be my first node. Now let's look at that. Let's look at the next step. Once again, I will make sure that this temp should start pointing to this second dot next, right? What I'm doing is now I'm saying that okay, this temp should start pointing second dot next, right? And as soon as I do this, after this I will say that second dot next should start pointing to the first. So you look at these two things. First dot next will be pointing to second dot next will be pointing to first. But before we actually run these two lines, we need to make sure that we don't lose the pointers to the next nodes, right? Let's first connect these two nodes. So I am saying right now the second will be start pointing to the first node, right? Great. And once again, what I'll do, I'll make sure that I now start pointing second to this temp node. Great. And once again, I will be repeating the same steps. Let's look at that once again. So now what I'll do, I'll say, okay, temp, you first go to first dot next. This is the first dot next, right? And now I'll run this particular line. First dot next will start pointing to second, which means first dot next will start pointing to this second node, right? And great. And now once again, I will run this particular line, which is temp is equals to second dot next. So temp is still like the same node, like temp is still the second dot next, right? So, and then finally I'll do, okay, second dot next start pointing to first. So second dot, okay, one thing which I forgot to tell you that, okay, first will become temp. So there is one more line which we need to add after this, that as soon as we run this line, we need to make sure that first move forward and start pointing to the temp. Similarly, second move forward and start pointing to temp. Because we, at last, once we make this connection, we need to make sure that second moves forward, first moves forward, right? So now, first is pointing to this node. So what I'll do, I will say, okay, now second will start pointing to this particular node, right? Great. And then second will move forward. And guys, we need to run this until, and now we have lost these 2 pointers, right? So now you can see that 1 is pointing to 5. This is also lost. 1 is pointing to 5, 5 is pointing to 2, 2 is pointing to 4, and 4 is pointing to 3, and 3 is pointing to null now. So we need to run this entire thing until while second dot next is not equals to null. This is it. This is it what we have to do. So let's quickly code this. So let's first write 2 different functions, reverse and calculating mid. So I'll be copying these 2 functions. So this is the function to calculate the reverse. You already know this. This is the function to calculate the mid node. I am simply passing the head, taking slow and fast pointer and running this loop and returning slow, right? So let's now receive them. So list node, let's call it as mid. So mid we can find by using find mid function, and we can pass head to this. Second, let's take first node. First node is nothing but the head to the original linked list. And then let's calculate head, or you can say like second, which is nothing but reverse, right? You can reverse, what you will reverse? You will reverse the mid, right? So now we have first pointer, second pointer, and now we need to repeat some of these steps. So while second dot next is not equals to null, right? I would recommend that you watch the explanation once again, you will get it, right? I will take first temp pointer, and temp is nothing but initially it will be pointing to the first dot next node. And now I need to repeat a few things, that okay, first dot next will start pointing to second, and then I will make sure that I update my first pointer, right? And similar steps I need to do for the second. So second, first make sure that you store the temp. So temp is nothing but second dot next, so that we don't lose the pointer, which is second dot next. And then we will repeat the same steps. So now we will make sure that second dot next will start pointing to first, right? And then second will be updated to temp. As soon as the connection is done, make sure that you move to the temp node, and this is it. And we don't have to return anything because we are doing it in place. So we just, the function return type is void, right? Let's try to run this. And this is accepted. Let's try to submit this. Great, it is submitted. The time and space complexity will still be big of n will be time, and space will be big of n because big of 1, because we are really not taking any extra space, right? So I hope you have understood this video, right? And this is it from my side for this video. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.